Hi, in this video I will shortly mention smoking withdrawal symptoms. So the withdrawal can cause irritability, trouble sleeping, sweating, depression or dysphoria, restlessness, tremors, and trouble sleeping as you see. And for special to people addicted to nicotine, it can cause cravings and they miss the substance. And they may gain weight and it may cause sleep problems. They may cough persistently and they're stressed and irritated and it may cause flu. So they in the literature they study withdrawal timelines I think it's interesting because knowing about the timelines can help them to have some information about their own withdrawal, and they will feel like the process is normal, not specific, it is not end of the world, and if they can uh, tolerate it, then they will improve their situation. So, and generally biomarkers related to addiction can be classified like diagnostic biomarkers, the biomarkers during addiction while they're still using the drugs or smoke. And also there are other biomarkers after withdrawal, and this is important to know, like why people smoke. So and generally they mention that self-treatment theory, and this theory explains that they smoke or they use drugs just to treat themselves. It improves their symptoms short time, but in long term it has a significant substantial damage, and it can lead them to die earlier. Um, so that in the literature we see that inflammatory biomarkers in addictive disorders, and there are also biomarkers related to oxidative stress in addictive disorders. So there are some studies about it. Like one study showed that extended access to opioids led to addiction-like behavior, and some constructs that are associated with addiction-like behavior may be associated with levels of pro-inflammatory stockiness, so the inflammation. And it can cause you to burn your body slowly and slowly killing themselves. So there are different addictive substances, smoking, alcohol, drugs, and there are novel addiction too. Like there are novel substances that we may be addicted, like addiction or smartphone addiction. They really damage people's life, and then they can be very dangerous. Drug abuse is the habitual, pathological use of drugs leading to drug dependence and addiction, and tobacco use disorder is related to withdrawal and addiction-related aspects. So there are some studies related to brain regions. So in one study they tell us that based on brain regions identified as involved in clinical phenotypes such as withdrawal symptoms or cue-elicited craving, modification of activity within these regions can serve as directed mechanistic interventional targets and predictive surrogates of smoking behavior. So it's important to know that brain regions activated during addiction, and it is very interesting to know that. And smoking cessation intervention is associated with, there are biomarkers mentioned in the literature, like smoking cessation intervention is associated with decreased hair cortisol levels and may be associated with mindfulness training and smoking abstinence. And also another study found that some biomarkers, like significant reduction of those biomarkers, they were found only at week 24. And in another study we see that, so next slide, individual differences in unpredictable threat startle response associated with withdrawal symptoms, age of first cigarette, and years daily smoking linked this laboratory biomarker to clinically relevant indexes of addiction risk and relapse. And I think, and as mentioned here, many of the symptoms of nicotine withdrawal are similar to those of the other drug withdrawal syndromes: anxiety, awakening during sleep, depression, difficulty concentrating, impatience, irritability. Although nicotine withdrawal may not produce medical consequences, it lasts for several weeks and can be severe in smokers. So it says that it can last for several weeks. Like most other drug withdrawals, nicotine withdrawal is time-limited, occurs in non-humans, is influenced by instructions, expectancy, and abates with replacement therapy and gradual reduction. Unlike some other drug withdrawal syndromes, protracted neonatal or precipitated withdrawal doesn't occur. So it's a very old reference, but it actually seems very important. So anyway, that's all I want to say. So withdrawal symptoms are normal and they have to tolerate it, and once they tolerate it, then they will have better life and better body for sure.